Здравствуйте, друзья, с вами Харт, и мы смотрим новые картишки в онлайне. Вот. Так, первая картишка, ребятушки. Вау. Хевраш. Ага. Легендарка на ханта. Все ваши другие существа получают раш. Вот. За 4 маны 3-6. Ну, как бы вам сказать, типа снова продвигают контроль ханта. Ну, честно вам признаться, слабо верится в эту карту, если честно вам признаться, ребята.
Oh yeah, the spellstone with this can be pretty insane because all those can immediately start attacking other minions. And I mean, yeah, people look at this, they think Tundra Rhino, they might even kind of get a reminder of the Warsong Commander days having other minions with fast abilities. This seems really, really powerful. And so when you look at a class like Hunter, which naturally wants to push a lot of tempo and pressure, but when you utilize the rush mechanic, what are you looking at specifically when you're designing a card like this?
So we wanted to have Rush in a couple of particular classes and say, okay, Warrior, Hunter, these are the classes that are really good at Rush. And so this is a card that makes Hunter really good at Rush. That it's a 4 mana 3/6 already, that's a pretty good body, that's basically vanilla stats, and then also you've got a ton of other minions that can
За 4 маны 3-6 неплохо, на самом деле,
says
да.
Hunter is going to be doing the Rush thing. Hunter can be good at that. And so that's a cool place for Hunter to be for this expansion.
That's right, and I'm looking at ways that's open-ended too. It doesn't specifically say you have to play very aggressive or even very defensive. There's poisonous minions that you can use, really small ones that can get rushed, and it's not just your other beasts, your other minions. So that opens up Hunter to maybe not have to be so dependent on just beast synergy all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing death rattle things, it's great if your death rattle minions have rush, because then you get their death rattle effects immediately.
Right, yeah.
So that's another place you can play into it.
Ну, хотя, может быть, скрывать эти, скрывать... Скрывать хрипы предсмертные, типа такого, может быть, да. Может быть, с хрипами будет синергировать. Ну, хотя, такое. Раш — это натиск, новая... Ну, новая механика. Типа рывка, только в лицо не ходит.
That's what hunters should be doing. Should be more on the pursuit, options. So sometimes you want to chase down those kills. So again, I think Hunter Master Shaw pretty solid legendary. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, this card's cool.
So with that, you want to introduce the second card here?
Yeah. So Hunter Master Shaw is one of the adventure guys. He's one of the kind of heroes of the Witch.
Хз, я не верю в эту карту, что типа, ну разве что может быть с этими, с хрипами, может быть, ребята. Только первая карта, ребята. Так, Restore 4 health to your hero.
Death Rattle Restore 4 health to your hero. Yeah, wow, really solid stats.
Ничего так.
Very mid-range card. I think the first card that sticks out to me is the fact that there's antique heal.
Ну хотя за 5 маны, типа 4-5. Против агры круто. Типа провокация, предсмертный хрип восстанавливает 4 единицы здоровья вашему герою.
This is a 5 mana, 5 health taunt, and then when it dies, it gives you another defensive thing. Sludge Belcher gave you a 1/2 taunt. This gives you 4 health back to your hero. A little bit like Healbot in that it's restoring health if you're
ну неплохо,
doing
мне
things
нравится,
like
прикольно.
Warlock that are actually costing your health, and so you need to get out of range of reach. Right. It's also a Death Rattle card in case you need to do Death Rattle things. Maybe you're, I don't know, you're doing a Priest quest, or for some reason you need Death Rattle minions. Maybe you're doing a Rogue Spellstone.
Yeah, I guess this just makes me extra sad if I get silenced. It just means that we lose the taunt and the 4 health, and just becomes a vanilla 5/4 or 4/5, excuse me.
Like Sludge Belcher.
Right, yeah. So you got to be really careful if they're putting a lot of silences out to it.
Good when the Zoth and Wild. pretty exciting.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things too.
Зота не будет же, да.
I want to take
С Зотом была бы неплохо карта эта.
But even some of the other formats, this is very useful in Arena, for example, if you want to heal and put some taunts in your way. Pretty solid. But when you look at Wild, and you're talking about Nazoth, you know, how much do you factor in a lot of these designs when you're looking at not only the new year and rotation, but also what stays forever in Wild?
Yeah, it depends on exactly the card. So it's important that Wild gets to stay crazy and that there's all sorts of, I don't know, wacky, insane, super powerful stuff that you can do in Wild. But it's also important that it stays like a fun format. And so we do definitely think about, oh, this is a cool combo with, you know, with Emperor or with Nazoth or with some card that's in Wild and not in Standard. And so, you know, maybe this will promote a Wild deck. Maybe this will make Wild a little bit more fun and a little bit cooler.
Oh man, the Nazoth, you're just being able to stay alive for a long time, and there's a lot of heals already in Wild, so I'm really excited to see what this deck can do. Definitely stopping a little bit that it was aggressive or tempo-oriented strategies. Give yourself a little bit of time to gather your late-game minions.
Yeah, neutral defensive cards are a good thing. We've been trying to put more like Tar Creeper in our expansions, so Rotten Applebomb's a good example of if you're a deck that wants to play more of the late game, it's just an opportunity to do that, especially if your class isn't particularly good at that.
Yeah. All right. Seems really solid overall. Can't really complain. I think that's what people really want to see too, a mix of something really exciting, but sometimes the solid, steady cards are a really good mix as well.
Yeah, and it's a cool, creepy treat.
Для аренки будет прикольная картишка. Может даже в ранке будет
I
играть.
like that it's very thematic to the Witchwood, you know, haunted trees, of course, and the apples themselves being rotten here. This card's called Witchwood Apple.
Yeah, it's one of those little apples from the card art.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's actually just a stretch off of the art card art you just saw. Druid card, 2-mana spell. Add 3 2/2 treants to your hand. I'm guessing it's just normal treants that we see off of like Force of Nature.
Yep, exactly. Okay. I think they're creepier art, but 2-mana 2/2 treants. Yep.
Cool, so that just puts,
типа добавляет 2-2 древня в вашу руку. 3 2-2 древня в вашу руку. Ну, хотя для агро-друида, мне кажется, может быть. Хотя, смотря по чем они будут. Если по 2 маны они будут, то, наверное...
And then you have ways you can synergize by buffing that with Power of the Wild. And then you have, you know, these big spell-oriented stuff. So when you're looking at this kind of card, what is it trying to... Are you trying to necessarily support an existing archetype, or are you just trying to create...
Если по 2 маны каждый древен, то... Ну, так себе. Хотя, может быть, заиграет в агро-друиде. Хотя, если ты агро-друид, то тебе приходится просто 2 маны тратить, правильно?
And so this will give you a lot of resources for late game. Maybe you're doing something where the number of cards in your hand matters, like Mountain Giant you mentioned. And so this could push in that direction. And that really brings us to our next card.
Yeah, the next card is Whispering Woods.
Такое.
Summon a 1/1 wisp for each card in your hand.
Ага. Призывает 1/1 виспа за каждую карту в вашей руке. Что-то типа хенд этого, что-то типа хенд друида будет.
Sure, or even you're just drawing cards. Like drawing cards is great. So if you just draw cards from turn 1 until turn 4, you're going to get a lot of wisps. Yeah,
I mean, people associate, you know, having a lot of cards with Warlock, for example, because you're drawing cards really early on. But Druid actually has a ton of card draw itself. So this hand Druid thing, is that potentially something new here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of something we're trying out with the Witchwood. There's a couple of cards that play into it. Witchwood Apple, Whispering Woods.
Ну, хотя, может быть, под забафы пойдет.
How that works. You know, it's a 4-mana 7/7 if you're doing that. I hear those are pretty good.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Playing the 7/7 worth of wisps.
Yeah.
And I do like the pun again. I see what you did there. The Whispering Woods with wisps.
It's a little bit like Dark Whispers. It turns out we didn't fire the guy from the Dark Whispers flavor text.
Okay, so he kept his job.
He kept his job, and that's actually the flavor text for this card.
Очень странная карта, ребята. Может быть, под забафы пойдет вот эта, которая +1/+1.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of a charming character, but it's got that creepy wisp. Like you're walking through the woods, and there's a will-o'-the-wisp, something out of the corner of your eye. I think it's cool.
I like that. I like that. We have another card here called Rebuke. So let's pull that one up. This is a paladin spell, 2 mana. Enemy spells cost 5 more next turn. Okay, this looks really familiar, Peter.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a card that's in Wild, maybe something that happened a few years ago. Yeah, this is Loatheb as a spell.
Okay.
Это эффект такой же, как у Латхиба, только спell.
And you could stack them, right? You can play 2 in 1 turn, so basically they can't play anything except for 1 spell if it's 0 cost.
And if you're doing something crazy like you're setting up Uther combo because you want to get, you know, a couple of horsemen out this turn, you're going to get a couple horsemen out next turn. Rebuke lets you set that up. It makes it really hard for your opponent to interact.
Wow, yeah. I didn't even you play the Death Knight and then you just summon a couple of horsemen, and then usually you need spells like, you know, Blizzard or you know, Flame Strike to clear out some of these minions. But
ну да, типа ты заспамил стол и блокируешь зачистку твоего оппонента. Типа такого. Может быть, будет работать, может быть.
You have to know when your opponent's critical turns are. You have to get a read on, do they have the AoE? What are the things that I need to mess with?
Если вовремя будешь разыгрывать эту карту, то нормально.
Darkness or anything related to, I usually want to, but considering that some of those cards will be rotating out, we'll see if Paladin can continue to push Flood as much as they are right now. But I can see that this just has very versatile use. I feel like almost every Paladin deck can justify their opponent not playing cards, because I think that is my #1 complaint in Hearthstone, is that my opponent is playing cards.
Мне кажется, да. Даже для агродруида может пойти, ребята.
Not play cards, Rebuke will stop.
Right, exactly. It's cool to have different ways to interact with your opponent. We have Dirty Rat, we've had Loatheb. Rebuke is another thing in kind of that space of, okay, I'm not going to let my opponent do something this turn, but they can do something in the future. So it's not a hard stop. We're not destroying all their mana crystals or something, but you know, it takes them a little bit more time to interfere with you.
Is there you know, something particular?
Да, это на паладина, ребята.
Like Paladin would get something like this versus other classes that also could utilize interactive spell costs like that?
Yeah, I think it could have gone in a number of classes. I think Paladin says, we're gonna play fair. You're trying to do spells that like destroy all my minions. That's not fair. Play some minions, play fair, play with me, so that I can Elder Peacekeeper them, or, you know, equality them, which is the ultimate in playing fair. So
только на один ход, ребята. Только на один ход, так же, как вот Хип работает.
More interactive and sort of skill testing type cards. They have a lot of things that are proactive for them, and, you know, flood the board, do interesting things for me. And so this gives them an opportunity to interact with their opponent, something that more warlocks or mages tend to do. And so it pushes them in a little bit of that space, which is interesting for them.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, you know, how every archetype of Paladin will use Rebuke. I think it's a pretty versatile card for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a cool card.
The next one we have, we're about halfway through. Wow, man, time flies by. This is the most fun time of the year for me. We have one called Vivid Nightmare.
Yeah, this card's weird.
3 mana Priest Epic. Wow, really creepy. There's a lot going on there. He's being possessed. He's being corrupted.
It's a very vivid nightmare. None of that's happening for real. He's just imagining.
Well, Priest is my vivid nightmare, if you ask me. Right now, we'll see if this ends up continuing it. It says, choose a friendly minion, summon a copy of it with 1 health remaining, and that's a minion that will be damaged to 1 health, or is just going to have 1 health like an Elder Peacekeeper?
No, it's a damaged 1 health thing. So if you copy your Northshire Cleric, it's going to be a 1/3 with 2 damage on it.
Okay.
So you can then, you know, Circle of Healing or whatever and draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah, you know, I mean, people look
Короче,
at Molten Reflection.
призывает дружественное существо с одним недостающим ХП, насколько я понял. Типа как бы копирует. Может быть, заиграть, что-то будет, комбо какая-то карта будет. Кстати, может с Лирой зайти. С Лирой может зайти. Или с Веленом, да. С Малигосом.
So, you know, when you're looking at like Vivid Nightmare here, are you designing it specifically for these combo decks, or are you just kind of trying to leave it more ambiguous for whatever?
This is a pretty open-ended card. Sometimes we'll have a card that we say, okay, this will probably go in this deck. This is very much the kind of card that could go anywhere. It's hard to say exact. It's not going to go into every deck. It's not going to go everywhere, but it could go anywhere. There's you know, maybe you're doing it with Radiance, maybe you're doing it with Death Rattle minions, maybe you're doing it because healing matters. You want to just draw a bunch of cards with your Northshires. So there's a bunch of sort of weird stuff you can do with the card, and it pushes in a bunch of different directions. So I love these open-ended, I'm not sure exactly what to do with it, but it really makes me think, like, am I doing it with Radiance? Am I doing it with, you know, Rotten Apple Bombs just because I want the 4 health and an extra little bit of taunt? Am I doing it with Priest Quest? Maybe I'm just making a lot of Weasel Tunnelers. Everybody needs more Weasel Tunnelers.
That's right. I mean, that form of a deck actually ended up making an appearance in the metagame.
Sure,
trying to, like, fatigue your opponent out of resources.
It's wild now, so maybe it's going to be harder to have it fit there, but, you know, you can't go wrong with Weasels.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point to maybe even just think about for a second here. Priest was a class that people kind of say, you know, needs a lot of help from some of the expansions once in a while. And now with rotation out, they lose some of their best tools. They still have, like, Psychic Scream.
Yeah, like Weasel Tunneler.
They lose some of their other better tools like Weasel Tunneler. And Vivid Nightmare is interesting too when you consider that, because people don't really necessarily think of Priest traditionally as a combo class, even though they have a combo deck right now with that Inner Fire and Divine Spirit deck.
Yeah, and Big Priest is very much in that combo deck space where you're not doing the traditional, I'm going to play a bunch of minions out over the course of the game. It's, I'm going to cheat giant minions out and then resurrect them alive. So that's also kind of a combo deck.
Yeah.
You know, Vivid Nightmare
Короче, в комбо-колоды пойдет, говорят.
Obsidian statues, for example.
Но много карт уходит в вольный формат, поэтому как бы не факт, но вполне возможно в вольных заиграем. Мы теряем Барнса там, ну и уйму классных карт мы теряем, поэтому, конечно, будет сложно комбить эту карту.
Alright, so we have, now this is a card that you told me that was maybe your favorite of the day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
С Лероем,
so we
да?
have Glinda Crowskin. This is a Warlock
Опачки, легендарка.
that says minions in your
прикольно.
hand have echo. 6 mana, 3/7.
Короче, существа в вашей руке получают эхо. За 6 мана 3/7.
You look at echo and you just look at
Infinite Wisps. So much Wisp value.
Infinite Wisp.
So
Yes.
much Wisp value.
That's not the first thing that came to my mind.
All right, fine. Infinite Sea Giant. So much Sea Giant value.
Sea Giant value, да. Типа можно комбить
This card must have given you such a headache in playtesting.
Oh yeah, this
с морским великаном там и так далее. Типа. Интересная карта, ребята, очень
So I love these cards. You know, this is also open-ended. What are you going to do with this? There's all sorts of insane things you can do.
Под гном Ферату, кстати, да. Ну, блин, у вас мало маны остается, ребята. Вот, кстати, под это, под портал, да, пойдет, типа 0.4, который Summoning Portal, вот этот вот.
Leroy Jenkins? Yeah, so you have Leroy.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Leroy маны не хватит. Откуда столько маны, ребята?
It is a little bit expensive, so you don't get to fit too much.
Дороговато, да.
But if you can stick it, and Warlock has, you know, really good removal tools to
make sure. She's got a lot of health too, so there's a chance.
How does this work with a discard? So say if you play a card like Doomguard.
Ну, она типа тоже комбо-карта, ребята.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that the Echo copy comes to your hand after the discard happens. So the battle cry fires, and then the discard happens, and then you get your Doom card. So if you had no cards in your hand, you'll just get to do Doom cards for a while.
And okay, and then that would mean that like if you play like Cobalt Librarian, you draw. And then
I believe you draw first. I'm not 100% sure. But
okay. Interesting. So that way it's one of the things that you have to make sure to sequence properly as well to make sure you're playing everything correctly to maximize your potential.
But yeah, Cobalt Librarian is another card pretty good with this.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Draw
right.
a lot of cards.
Oh yeah.
Do a lot of damage to yourself.
Yeah, and then you know, if you're in Wild, you can play that 0-mana Molten Giant a lot faster.
Sure.
Now.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, this card.
О, с Molten Giant там тоже нормальная тема будет.
I think this. I mean, when you're creating a set of cards, I can't imagine how many processes and iterations that this card must have gone through when you guys were making it.
It went through a lot. This started as sort of a top-down design, so we started with a fantasy of the sort of Baba Yaga legend, where you've got this evil witch in the forest with her walking hut and stuff. And so she actually shuffled in like her heart into your deck when she died, and so when you drew that, you could resummon her. So it was the story of this immortal witch in the woods. And so that wasn't that much fun from the gameplay side, so it ended up pushing more in the direction of, all right, what if we made all of your cheap creatures really, really good? So she's really one of the ones that's out there twisting the forest and cursing the things so that everything becomes kind of a creepy monster.
Okay, so then that's where the echoes come from everywhere because she's corrupting everything that she touches.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So everything is scary.
Не глинда,
this is a
глина.
really fascinating card too, and the flavor makes sense. The heart thing shuffling into, does that mean that like Glinda would have gone like dormant, you have to wake it up like the darkness?
She would have actually gone away, and then when you drew the heart, you would just resummon Glinda.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I mean this seems a lot more like ridiculous explosive
Ну,
stuff.
кроме этого, кроме каких-то великанов, тут сложно что-то придумать с ней просто. Так как она дороговата довольно-таки.
Good things, it's minions and not everything, because Warlock has a lot of really powerful cheap stuff. So
yeah, it was everything for about 30 seconds until we remembered that Soulfire exists.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, so we had the Hunter Legendary, we've had the Warlock Legendary, and then the Rogue Legendary was revealed. So some of these Legendaries are really powerful, and it seems like they really capitalize on the new mechanics. Is that something that you're trying to drive, like have these Legendaries be a lot of the big vehicles for some of these new mechanics to explore?
It's mostly that we have these new mechanics, and let's play around with them. What does the Legendary version of Rush look like? What does the Legendary version of Echo look like? And Face Collector's an example, Glinda's an example, the Legendary version of what Echo could be. And it's worth calling out that we've seen one of the Rogue Legendaries, but there are actually 2 Legendaries in each of the classes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're 2 minions.
Oh, that is important to point out, too. So, you know, Warlock might even get some other Legendary that can really complement it, or build a different direction utilizing some of these other things that we see in Witchwood.
Yep.
Cool. So that brings us to our next card here. We've got a few more. We've got Nightmare.
Да, кстати, может быть, эффект же сохранится, точно. Точно.
I don't know, man, but...
This is Elemental, Mech, Demon, Murloc, Drag. Ух ты, прикольно, прикольно.
This is an Elemental, Mech, Demon, Murloc, Dragon, Beast.
Прикольная карта.
Yep.
Типа, может быть всем чем угодно, типа, может быть из... Круто, круто. И это общая карта. Вот это очень прикольная тема, конечно. Типа, может быть, Мурлоком 3-4, да? Прикольно, все в одном.
This might be one of the options.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you summon a random Murloc, like you have a Murloc Knight in Wild, here you go.
You might summon this, and it counts for everything else too, the elementals. So if you played this previous turn, you can play elemental synergies, and then of course mechs buffing other mechs. The art, is this supposed to try to touch everything? Like it touches every tribe here, I'm guessing. Just
yeah, it's fantastic. We asked the artist, could you please give us an elemental Murloc demon totem mech thing? And he's like, yeah, I've got you. And so he did. It's amazing.
Все что угодно, короче, nice.
Oh, he's got an eye patch. Right?
Okay,
yeah. On the elemental.
There you go. Yeah.
Страшнее лоскутика, да, ребята.
Okay, and the
it's
stats
fantastic.
The stats are also really solid too, so you don't even necessarily lose too much. So you know, in Arena, for example, it's really hard to pair synergies together sometimes because you don't get to choose what 30 cards you always want. So this could be a really important linchpin in those epic picks, or rather, they changed this.
Yeah, I mean it's a 3-mana 3/4, so it's pretty reasonable.
Жесть, конечно, я в шоке с арта, ребята, очень страшно.
Because it's a beast, and there's some class that could really utilize just synergy in general. I'm looking forward to see if people can make this card work. It's, you know, kind of a big question mark on where it fits, you know.
Yeah, this is another one of those cards that who knows exactly where it's going to go, but there's a
Страшно вырубай, ребята, я в шоке.
And that's a cool place for neutral cards to end up is, I don't know exactly where this is going to go. It probably doesn't go in everything, but there's a lot of decks that might try it out and might experiment.
One of the things that I really like about just maybe the set in general, but specifically even just how even odds and now this mechanic works, is that it touches every class differently.
Yeah.
So even though you might say that this is an overarching like archetype, like, you know, like Reno Jackson, for example, kind of made things feel very similar in the sense that you just want to play very defensive and use Reno to heal. But even an odd makes every class approach it very differently, and I think this is the same thing too. Each class has its own set of archetypes and tribes that might utilize Nightmare algorithm differently.
Ну, прикольная штука. Удешевление только, если было бы, да, типа, все стоит дешевле, там, что-то. И можно было бы много раз его играть, и, типа, nice.
hunters becoming more aggressive. It's not pushing them in the same direction, it's pushing them in different directions.
Yeah. So there you go. Support. Some pirate support, even if you don't necessarily think it's obvious.
Sure. This will call out patches for you.
Yeah,
there you
you're
go.
right. Yeah, the 3-mana 3/4 pulled out patches. Oh, just like good times, buddy.
Yep.
Just like the good old times. Wow. So we have another card here. This one is called Witch's Apprentice.
Да, шамановская карта.
She's adorable.
Провокация, боевой клич добавляет случайную шаманский спелл в вашу руку. Прикольно.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to cast a spell.
Типа книжки.
Yeah, this is one of those cards where as soon as we got the
Типа книжки маговской, только 0/1 из провокации. Прикольно. Но у шамана намного меньше этого, намного меньше хороших спеллов, чем у мага.
Yeah, she didn't start out as a frog. She was apprenticed to Hagatha, and then things went a little.
Мне кажется, будет хуже, чем книжка, ребята, потому что спеллов там трешовых очень много.
She's okay when her apprentices do things a little bit wrong.
Yeah, and you know, I'm thinking about some of the shaman spells. Obviously, some are moving because Year of the Raven, but some will live forever in wild here. No shaman spells have been revealed, right? As far as my collection.
For the Witchwood, no.
For the Witchwood, obviously more shaman spells would come into it, but I think people look at these kinds of cards and say, "When's my class going to get something like Babbling Book, or when's it going to get something like Jewel Macaw?" And there it is for Shaman, the Witch's Apprentice.
Yeah, it's a really fun card. Babbling Book was a lot of fun. Witch's Apprentice is really fun. Which one's better? It's hard to tell. Sometimes you just really need that taunt body to block for a turn. Sometimes you want the one attack. So it's a pretty interesting card, and there's some cool shaman spells that you can get off of it.
That's right. I've also noticed that a lot of these cards just incidentally have beast tags. I mean, obviously because the frog has to kind of be consistent with the other frogs that exist out there in Hearthstone. But it seems like there's a lot of beasts being added to the set, even in classes that don't necessarily utilize them. Like
ну такое, зачем бист типа шаману?
Is there any particular reason why, or is it just because
it's flavor-wise? It's a little bit like Ungoro, where we were doing the dinosaur set, so it made sense. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of beasts.
Right.
So this is we're
Тут
doing
типа много
the
бестов
spooky
будет.
forest set. It makes sense to have a lot of beasts out in the spooky forest.
Okay, interesting. I wasn't sure if there was something, you know, kind of like leading towards there, because I was like noticing, like, there's so many beasts out here. Glitter Moth, the Gloomstag for Druids. Like, man, all these are beasts.
We had some Beast Matters cards in Ungoro. There's fewer here. It's less of a theme this set. The spooky is more the theme rather than beast. Okay. But it happens that there's a lot of creepy creatures out in the woods.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
You know, Nightmare Malcolm. That's another beast.
Sure. So I guess that brings us to our last card.
Yeah.
Да, последняя картишка, ребята, на сегодня.
I already know the name of it, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Let's go ahead and just show it on screen.
Ух ты, что-то крутое.
This is the card that people were looking at with the reveal video when it was shown.
Это то, что слишком имба, ребята.
Hagatha the Witch, 8 mana, battle cry, deal 3 damage to all minions.
Наносит 3 единицы урона всем существам.
Yeah, very much. One of the things you want when you're playing a hero card is you really wish the board was clear, so she'll help you get there.
Okay.
Обилка какая? О, пассив play minion as a random spell to your hand. О, прикольно. Пассивная сила героя. После того, как вы играете существо, добавляет рандомное заклинание шамана в вашу руку. Вот это прикольно, ребята. Прикольно.
Great.
Every minion becomes a witch's apprentice, right?
Да, каждая.
She's apprenticing all of your minions.
Fantastic.
Каждая карта, которую ты ставишь.
Ну,
интересно, очень прикольно.
Everything's her apprentice. So it's kind of cool being able to tie this together. Oh, we see her in action.
Okay, cool. So this, incidentally, be very good in the meta right now. I see a lot of this. Sweet animation as well. I love it.
Yeah, I love that effect.
Красиво.
Type of thing going on.
Yeah, spooky lightning. It's cool.
Foresight.
Do we get like an extra bonus spell here? Oh, Crushing Hand?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Got some Farsight, some Crushing Hands.
Yeah, I was secretly hoping that it would reveal like another bonus spell that we haven't seen yet. And I'm like, okay, show me some more of the goods. Wow, so let's break this down here. I think
Прикольная штука, но очень много трэшовых спылов, конечно, у шамана, ребята.
It's mostly a flavor thing. We wanted ways to show off, this is the coolest character in the expansion. Hagatha is the Witch of the Woods. So she is very much the central character. And so we wanted a way to say, yeah, she's really special. So we made her the only hero card in the set. And so I think that does make her really special. She's cool. She's got a text box, she's got a hero power. She's got 5 armor. You get a lot of value out of her.
Yeah, and I think people won't complain since hero cards is one of the cool things about Knights of the Frozen Throne. I mean, probably the most cool thing, just becoming the Death Knight. And people were wondering if that would make a comeback here. But I think people were also just curious, like maybe not necessarily like just about the mechanic itself, but why just Shaman? Is it just because the Witch is a Shaman?
Yeah, it's because the Witch is a Shaman, basically.
Вольно, мне кажется, сильнее будет, ребята.
To have the hero card to be the Witch, and so we just wanted to do the one, and so Shaman made a lot of sense for it.
Gotcha. And then when you kind of like break down just the hero power, like what's kind of the thought process of like what the design is around it and how it kind of fits the Witchwood theme? Yeah,
so we wanted to push this hero in a different direction than Thrall. So Thrall says, put me in a deck with lots of minions. I'm going to transform them all into better minions, and then, you know, my hero power lets me keep upgrading them. Hagatha says, if you have a lot of minions, Thrall gonna die. So put me in a different deck than the Thrall deck. Okay. And this is more of the late game control style. I want infinite value in the late game type thing.
Yeah, you know, we kind of mentioned that passive hero powers aren't very common in Hearthstone.
No, it's basically just Valera, I think, that gives you a passive hero power.
Yes, definitely Valera.
Definitely Valera.
I don't think anything else, though.
There's stuff in Adventures. A lot of the Adventure bosses have it, but yeah, it's basically just Death Knight Valera, and now Hagatha.
And you know, that's because it's so open-ended, and it just feels like this card can sometimes just win games by itself. It becomes a battle of attrition.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get a huge number of resources out of this. There's a lot of removal, a lot of AoE in Shaman spells, so that's a lot of the types of things that you're getting. You can also get Spellstone. Spellstone's pretty good because you're also going to generate overload from the random spells you're getting.
That's right.
So that's a lot of value.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just thinking about the Shaman spells too. You kind of saw a few of them, but you know, Volcano's really good.
Спорная карта на самом деле.
Shaman does have a lot of these good control tools. And, you know, because I also do a lot of the tournaments commentary for HCT. A lot of players do mention that Shaman's this past year has always been on the cusp of like a great breakout. And they feel like they have some great spells. You know, they had really good packages in Jade and Evolve and Elementals. Maybe a card like this, with a new fresh start in the Year of the Raven can really help them, at least in Standard, because everyone knows how powerful Shaman can be in Wild, for example.
Yeah, back in the Whispers of the Old God meta, there was a Bog Champ deck a long time ago.
Yes! Thank you!
And this is kind of in that same space. If you're playing a super long game controlling Shaman deck, maybe you want some extra value to go with your Bog Champ shenanigans.
That's awesome. And I mean, I think it's really cool that, you know, maybe Shaman gets to play with Hagatha. I do anticipate a lot of people playing Shaman or trying to open or maybe even craft Hagatha and play on day one.
Короче, напоминает мне этого оружку типа шамана. Только оружка ты хоть раскапываешь, а тут как бы бесплатно. Но зато тут... Не, мне кажется, может заработать, ребята. Но не сказать, что полностью трэш. Потому что 3 маны, 3 единицы урона по всему столу. Нормально.
The flavor of the central character of an expansion. So I think that's absolutely an opportunity for the future.
That's right. It's something that does make Hearthstone a little bit more unique, given that they have the heroes from Warcraft, and then we don't no longer have those tagged, but you're still able to assume the role-playing element of it.
Yeah, you get to be Hagatha, then you get to have your emotes changed, so you're gonna have totally new emotes that are in her voice, which is cool.
Да. Эмоции новые, типа nice.
Oh, speaking of emotes.
Прикольно.
Her voice is excellent. Yeah, it's really well done.
We should get her voice pack for Kit Boga streams. Oh, that's rude. Oh no. Oh, I'm already regretting, or just like resenting the idea of my opponents telling me unwise after every single card I play.
Только шаманы, ребят, только шаманы.
I've been trained from a young age to already think that. Peter, wow, this was really fun. We've had 10 cards revealed. It brings us to 22. I did want to ask one final question about the revisiting mechanics. is unstable evolution going to gain like the word echo at all, or is it just kind of keeping it?
It won't. It works very slightly differently. The echo cards give back themselves. The unstable evolution copy that you get has slightly different wording on it to let you know that it's going away at the end of the turn. Echo cards won't.
Gotcha.
They work a little bit differently with Yogg. If Yogg casts unstable evolution, then you get the echoed-ish version in your hand. With echo cards, it only works if you play them from your hand. There's some like really tiny differences between them, but no, we're not going to change the wording on unstable evolution.
Even from the grave of standard and moving into wild, Yogg is still giving you guys a couple headaches here and there.
Praise Yogg. Yogg is always out there.
I like it. I like it. Peter, it's been really fun.
This
is all we have in the very beginning. This kicks off reveal season. But I want to ask you, do you have any of the cards that are revealed so far that are your favorites, or something that you like?
Man, I love Glinda. I think that kind of open-ending deck building is incredibly cool. I think Baku is one of my favorite cards in the whole expansion.
Любимая карта его из всех этих Глинда и Баку.
Was one of my favorite cards of all time, and so being able to do that from turn one, I'm really excited about trying out some Baku decks. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that's been revealed. Black Cat's adorable.
Yeah,
that card's just so cute.
Super cute. I think it's power creeping again on all the other cute stuff. Murloc, Tiny, Finn, stuff for Penguin. Step aside for the Black Cat.
Yeah, Black Cat is awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm really excited about.
I'm really excited because I love playing Hunter myself, so I think Houndmaster Shaw is a really fun card to think about as well, because Hunter's kind of had some weird identity issues, but kind of found itself towards the middle and the end of the year of the Mammoth, and I think Hunter's in a pretty good spot right now with Spell Hunter. People can still play mid-range and even aggressive forms. So I'm looking forward to see how they capitalize on it. Peter, thank you so much for having me. Is there anything that you kind of want to say to end the stream here?
No, I'm just really excited about the Witchwood. We'll start community reveals tomorrow. Witchwood itself will come out in April, and you can pre-order it now. There's you can get 50 packs and then 20 bonus packs when you pre-order. So I'm incredibly excited about the Witchwood. It's going to be awesome, and thank you so much for doing this. It was great having you.
The pleasure is mine. It's the most exciting time of the year, and I'm glad to always do it and be part of it. If you guys missed any of the cards, or say you caught part of the stream, you can go to playhearthstone.com with all the reveal cards so far, and then of course plug into the local community, whether it be on social media, on Reddit, etc., and just get discussion about the cards going, because it's really exciting. And like you said, it starts tomorrow for the community reveals with streamers, websites. I can't wait.
I'm really excited. Reveal season is the best season.
Да, reveal season, ребята, типа каждый день будут карты новые показывать.
And stay tuned for more Witchwood updates, which will start, I believe, tomorrow for the community reveals. Until then, this has been Frode and Peter.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching.
See you guys next time.
See you guys next time. Вот, ребятушки, пишите в комментариях, какие карты вам понравились больше всего. Вот, мне будет интересно узнать. Вот. И подписывайтесь на канал, если хотите быть в курсе всех событий. А с вами был Харт, Питер и Дэн Чо. Вот, ребятушки, как-то так. Черт, опоздал, братан, ты опоздал, ты все пропустил. Как ты мог? Какая катастрофа. Эпик Приста пахнет ОТК комбой. Вот. Ну, немного показали, как бы вам сказать, мне кажется, то, что немножко, ребята, конечно, ну, хз, хотелось бы каких-то более крутых карт, конечно, ребятушки. Что-то как бы показали, но каких-то таких типа карт, вау, круто, какая карта. Ну, вот это, как ее, Локовская мне понравилась. Вот, Локовская прикольная. Локовская nice. Что, ну, почему? Потому что, да, точно, это не до конца хода эхо получают. А она типа делает, и все карты эхо получают. То есть топчик. Вот. Мне кажется, то, что, ну, вот эта карта, которая Локовская, может заиграть вполне. Вот. Потом с вот этим вот Латхибом за 2 тоже неплохо. В принципе... Хз, ребята, хз. Но мне кажется, то, что все равно будут какие-то интересные еще карты. Интересные какие-то движухи. В принципе, нормас. Это Варлока, а то ее надо было бы делать всем. Одна норм. Через сколько стрим по ХСу? Через сколько стрим по ХСу? Да я думаю, скоро начнем, ребятушки. Вот, думаю, скоро будет стрим по ХСу. Я пойду, это вот, пойду залью видосик, вот, так что совсем скоро будет видосик на канале с вот этим всем, ну, стримом. Так что там не забудьте зайти, поставить, может быть, лайкос там, вот, комментарий оставить, какие карты вам понравились, какие нет. Вот, и совсем скоро увидимся, ребятушки, я думаю, совсем скоро с вами снова увидимся. Вот, так что как-то так. Не прощаюсь, скоро стримчанский.